Hey, hey, hey. Somehow I made it on time. I was in traffic for a very long time. So it was crazy. I drove across the city and back today and made it right on time. Thank God. Somehow. I feel like you can see the shininess of how sweaty I was. That's okay. Sometimes everyone's sweaty. Everyone sweats, right? So we're going to be reading chapters 20 through 25 / technically 21, 26 of Dark Life today. I'm so ready. We're nearing the end of this. So and I think it is a series too. So let's get Squonk up here. You're already here, but thank you. I'm surprised because I just took care of like 4 kids. I'm really surprised. Yo, yo. Can you hear me okay? Yep. Okay, cool. Just making sure.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, the mommy and me session went good. It was just a lot.
Well, I can understand that. I mean, like, 4 kids and then a mother is a lot of clients for a photographer to deal with.
Yeah, and I felt
taking into account that they're kids.
Exactly. And I felt like so sad because she was like, I don't really want any pictures. I mean, like, I might get some pictures, but I mainly just want pictures of the kids. And I was like, oh man, like, this is supposed to be for you. But it is like also for the kids, and having pictures of your children is really priceless. So I'm like, okay. But I did end up, she got in some of the photos with them. So I'm happy because she was in some of them. So
well, that's good.
Yeah. The kids had a good time. They were really cute. I can't wait. They're adorable.
Well, that's fun. I'm sure you've got some good editing ahead of you.
Oh my god, I have so much to do. Like, I need to fix our sound alerts. I need to upload all the videos that I've been backlogged on.
Forgetting.
Literally for so long now. It's gonna be like 3 videos. Hi, Winterset. I need to work on the quality of my stream. See if I can fuck with my camera. I have to. Oh my god, yeah. So it's gonna be fun. Hi, Winterset. Thank you for being here. Were you reading last or was I? Because I honestly can't remember.
I read last.
Okay. Sorry, I'm very tired.
You're all good, homie.
Oh my god, the burp.
That's a lot of driving.
It was like usually it only takes maybe 40 minutes. Like to go south, it took me 40 minutes to get there from where I lived, and it took me an hour and a half to get back. Yo! Oh my gosh. Red Spocula here from San Diego. Thank you so much for being here. And Luna, thank you for being here too. Might go to a thrift bookstore down here that has 50,000 books. Well, you should check it out at least. Welcome in.
Right.
Do you want to help me recap? Because I'm so brain dead right now. I'm so sorry.
I mean, I can absolutely help you recap. I'm just trying to get the book to open, and it's telling me that it wants to re-download the book at a later date.
Oh my!
If you can open it real quick.
Well, we got nothing but time, that's for sure. I could do a little Dabaruski. My brain is like really fried, so I'm sitting here like, why can't I remember anything I read yesterday?
Ugh.
I'm fucking fried right now.
So basically, we were at a point where a lot of like confessions were made. Ty and Gemma basically had this fun, like, well, okay. Last time we, started off with them escaping out of the grasp of the outlaws and then having their fun, cutesy little moment where they get to ride the whale together and
Yeah.
try to,
Oh, yeah.
kind of
I
own up
remember.
to Gemma about some pretty big revelations.
Oh my God. Okay, things are coming back.
They got back to the house.
Oh,
Yeah, once they
God.
got back to the Peavy's house, further confessions happen on Ty's behalf where he really fesses up to his parents and honestly all of the settlers about everything that's been going on with the outlaws, all the information that he knows by this point for the most part. And we kind of very sadly left off on the dock telling Ty that the blood from the original ship that they found was, in fact, it came up as Gemma's brother Richard.
Oh my god. Okay.
And also the revelation that Richard was in Sea Flight as well.
Yeah. Oh my god. So many things.
5 chapters.
Yeah, a lot happened. Yeah, it felt like so much happened I couldn't remember what was going on.
But like in particular, we left off with Ty finding out this information about Richard's DNA matching the blood that was on the interior of the sub, and
Right. Oh no,
and
that sucks.
them being like, "How are we gonna break this to Gemma?" Only for her to be like,
she was right
"Yeah,
there.
I kind of hurt you."
Ah, yikes, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Thank you, homie.
Yeah, of course.
Fuck. Man.
Let's see if the book will open this time. What the heck?
Trying to open the butter that I got. THC butter. Yeah. Nice and goldy. My gosh. I've snoozed the ads like 3 times in the past 15 minutes that we started this. That's crazy. Chill out, Twitch.
Right.
Oh, okay, well, I just put a dab on the floor, and I'll have to find that later.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
I didn't. Yeah, my desk is like fucked right now too. So, yay. Okay. Little dab, and then we will get started.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys for being so patient with me having to push things later today. I had a feeling that was gonna happen, so I just like that's why I kept being like, I think this is what's gonna happen.
Work with me here. Okay.
Oh yeah. I needed this dab really bad. I didn't even get to like stop and have a puff break before this.
Did I get it back? Okay, cool. I got it back.
Yay!
I don't know why the app was being silly, but it wanted me to. I had to re-sign in before it let me open the book. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad it's back.
Yeah. I just don't know why that happened. I got it all fixed. So.
Sorry. I said oh no because the little wizard hat fell off the bug that I have up on my desk that you can't see, but this is what he looks like. I got him from this person that makes memes on Instagram, and I fucking love him.
That's fantastic.
He came from Slovakia. So random. Okay. I'll switch over the music to the ocean vibes. Okay.
No.
Alrighty. I had a little glitch moment. I heard that.
There we go.
All right. Chapter 21. Move the mic out of my face and remember to do it so I don't just grab the mic 70 times. Gemma sat like a sea lily for the ride back to the homestead. Still, pale, and fragile. Ma and Pa exchanged concerned looks and whispers the whole way, having been filled in on Doc's news, except the part about Gemma being a runaway. Doc kept his promise and didn't tell, which didn't matter because the view phone was ringing the moment we climbed out of the moon pool. Pa answered, and the face of a woman filled the screen. "Oh no," Gemma ducked behind me. "It's Mrs. Spinner, the one who was always moving me around." Surprised, I looked back at the view phone. I'd assumed that the director of Gemma's boarding home was a new Puritan. Boy, was I wrong. Mrs. Spinner epitomized a very different sort of topsider by removing everything natural about her appearance. Her overcurled hair shimmered with as many colors as a parrotfish, while her features looked as if they'd been drawn out with pastel chalk. As always, the effect creeped me out. Oh, this sounds really freaking weird. "Are you John Townsend?" she asked in an oh-so-nice voice that I wasn't buying. "I am." Pa sounded like he wasn't buying it either. "I'm Eudora Spinner, the director of the Elmira boarding home," she said, then tacked on a smile. "I received a call tonight from a Ranger Grimes. He tells me that you may have one of our wards staying with you." Pa beckoned for Gemma. I wanted to grab her by the hand and hide her away, but I knew my parents would never agree to keep her presence a secret. As if her body was filled with rocks, Gemma slowly made her way to stand in front of the screen. "Hello, Mrs. Spinner." The woman tisked softly. "Gemma, how could you worry me like this?" Gemma's attitude remained courteous, but she didn't reply. "Well, it's a lucky thing that the teachers remembered all your questions about Benthic territory." Mrs. Spinner's smile turned pitying. "I suppose you haven't found your brother." Stone-faced, Gemma studied her cuticles. "Have you considered that maybe, just maybe, he doesn't want to be found?" Mrs. Spinner steepled her fingers as if in thought. "Richard turned 21 6 months ago, isn't that right? Gemma, darling, I think it's time you accepted the hard truth. If he wanted to be your legal guardian, he would have come for you already." She sighed dramatically. "I don't know how you manage to keep up your delusions year after year, believing that your brother cares, when he hasn't even bothered to visit you since you were 12. Okay, that's so rude. This woman is oversharing and being really, really disrespectful. Oh my god, I didn't realize there was an ad break happening. Fuck! Sorry, y'all. I'm gonna wait for a second. This person's a fucking asshole. Okay, sorry, y'all. I did not realize the ad break was happening. So we will keep reading. "I've caused you a lot of trouble, haven't I, Mrs. Spinner?" Gemma asked, sounding remorseful, though I saw that behind her back, her hands were balled into fists. "I do hope you didn't drop any lower on the housing waiting list on account of me. I know how badly you want to get out of your cramped little apartment." With a wheeze of outrage, oh my god, Mrs. Spinner cracked her polite facade. "Oh no, they pushed you down the waiting list?" Gemma exclaimed with mock horror. "I'm ever so sorry." "Sorry?" Mrs. Spinner hissed, with her multi-hued curls trembling. "I've dropped a place for every hour you've been missing. Believe me, girl, sorry will take on a whole new dimension when you get back." Ma, who'd been standing next to Gemma throughout the call, put a protective arm across her shoulders. "Miss Spinner," Pa said, taking up position on Gemma's other side, "we'd like to offer Gemma an alternative. She's welcome to live here with us. If she wants to stay sub-sea, Ma added. Out of the question, snapped Mrs. Spinner before Gemma had a chance to respond. We'd never place a ward in an experimental settlement on the seafloor. Anger propelled me forward. Sending her to a reformatory is better than living with Dark Life? Miss Spinner scoffed. Please. There's no telling what the water pressure is doing to you people. And I'm... Oh boy. And I'm not going to have the... Yeah, And I'm not going to have the... This woman's a bitch. What were you going to say, Squonk? Sorry.
Just this bitch.
This bitch, for real. God.
I want to fight her.
For real, like, oh. And I'm not going to have that ungrateful girl serve me with a lawsuit 10 years from now because she has brain damage. I'm afraid, Mr. and Mrs. Townsend, you do not meet the Commonwealth qualifications for suitable foster parents. A muscle ticked in Pa's jaw, and I knew it was taking all of his restraint to keep his temper in check. We may not be living sub-sea much longer, he said. I felt my bone marrow harden. Well, when you've established yourselves back in civilization, feel free to fill out a foster care application. In the meantime, Miss Strayed, Miss Spinner said, fixing her sharp eyes on Gemma, you will be at the Territory's trade station tomorrow by 7 a.m. Ranger Grimes has kindly offered to escort you to your new living assignment. Which is? Gemma asked in a hollow tone. Miss Spinner smiled unpleasantly. The Altoona Reformatory for Wayward Girls. I have no doubt you'll feel right at home with the other charges. Gemma didn't wait for the view phone to cut to black. She fled up the stairs. Bruh, and they can't, like, keep her because then it would be kidnapping. That's the end of the chapter for that one, for chapter 21. This is stressful.
Oh my gosh, this is such bullshit.
Like,
Because,
actually.
like, they love to sit there and yap on about how the government doesn't want to waste its precious resources on wards of the Commonwealth.
Literally.
But, like, God forbid you put them in an experimental territory that you're already treating just as lackadaisically as you treat these wards.
Literally.
Like, what do you mean you aren't happy to dust your hands of the resources and finances that it costs to take care of this child?
Literally. I mean, honestly, and
like, it's almost like she literally just doesn't want Gemma to be happy.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, not only is this person just, like, super evil. Well, no, she is. She's just super fucking evil. Like, this is crazy.
Very, very selfish and entitled. Very happy to, like, just get a leg
Fuck her
up
life
off of
up.
somebody else's misery.
Yeah, to just be like, all right, you know what? I know she's never had anything in her life. Let's fucking make it worse.
Right.
Like, oh, cool.
Well, yeah, because, like, Gemma's put herself in a position multiple times over that directly fucks up the benefit that this asshole is trying to rake off of literally orphans.
Literally orphans.
Yeah. Like, she gets, you know, better and better housing if she keeps these, you know, little children that have no parents to be responsible for them in line and perfect at all times or whatever. And she's more than happy to just make sure that these children are miserable and stuck in line at all times.
Like,
if
actually.
That means that she gets a fancier apartment.
No, actually. Fucking called her out on that shit, too. She was trying to be all fake.
Oh, ugh. Yeah, I do not like Miss Spinner. I mean, I already kind of had bad vibes given what Gemma had described, but
Right.
wow, she really followed through on them with her first appearance.
Seriously, though. Like, immediately.
I don't know why. Like, mentally, I have this almost like Hunger Games-esque visualization of the like hall monitor character that Brandon Rogers does as Miss Spinner.
As Miss Spinner?
Yeah, Miss Spinner basically looks like the hall monitor character that Brandon Rogers does, but like slightly more elevated
Oh my
and
god,
flamboyant.
I can picture that. The hair, like the description of the hair and the chalky ass hair
Right,
was like crazy.
right.
That
Alrighty.
literally made me uncomfortable. I was like,
Right.
ew, what the fuck? Also, I want to warn, I haven't eaten at all today. So I'm going to order myself some food and I'm going to eat off mic. Like, just quietly.
Good idea.
Because I'm fucking starving. So.
Good idea. Chapter 22. I couldn't move. Straps bit into my arms and legs, holding me down. I lifted my head and saw that I was belted to a hospital bed. Shirtless and shoeless, I thrashed, making the straps cut into my flesh, but still they held me in place. From out of nowhere, a gas mask appeared, hovering over my face. I twisted it away, my neck cramping with effort. Steely fingers gripped my scalp as the mask covered my nose and lips. I choked back my cries, holding my breath, rolling my eyes upward. I saw a man in a surgical cap, pressing down on the mask. Foul gas pierced my lungs, my vision blurred, and I jerked awake in the dark, drenched in a cold sheet of sweat. Another nightmare. When would I be done with them? Turning on my side, I listened to the house, to the soft hum of the generator and air purifiers. That helped my heart slow. I got out of bed and pressed my forehead to the cold window. Nothing suspicious lurked in the kelp field. Suddenly, a splash, one level down, broke the silence. A familiar enough noise, but not one that I often heard in the middle of the night. Who would be climbing in or out of the moon pool at this hour? I hurried down the stairs, noting that the wet room lights were off. Worry dug into me. I swung around the center pole of the staircase and landed with a soft slap of bare feet on the lower floor. The only light illuminating the wet room was from the boundary lamps surrounding the property, and they were set on dim. Still, I could see Gemma across the room, digging through the contents of a locker, probably looking for her dye skin since she was wearing Zoe's too short nightgown again. The mini-sub bobbed in the center of the moon pool, which relieved me. Using the clamp to pluck up a mini-sub, swing it over the moon pool, and drop it directly into the water was tricky enough in a bright room, but as far as I could tell, she hadn't scraped up its side or cracked its viewport on the hard edge. "What are you doing?" I asked as I flicked on the lights at the bottom of the stairs. She whirled, looking guilty and bedraggled. "You're running away again," I said. Seeing her duffel bag by the moon pool hollowed out my chest. "I was just borrowing your sub," she stammered. "Couldn't think of any other way to get to the trade station. I was going to leave it there." "What would that get you?" "I'll hitch a ride to the mainland on some wing ship or houseboat, or stow away." "Don't stop at the trade station," I said, wishing I could control the catch in my voice. "You could run into Grimes. Go all the way to Paramus, and then leave the sub at the Seaguard Pier. Pick it up there." "You're going to let me take your sub?" she asked, confused. "How can I stop you? I'm not going to shoot you. Could wake up your parents." "Right. Zoe too. Then all four of us can sit on you until the Maritime Rangers show up." She relaxed. "That doesn't sound fun for any of us." I nudged her duffel bag with my foot. "Did you take food?" When she shook her head, I scooped up a seagrass basket inside the greenhouse door and tossed it to her. Then I plucked 2 apples from the nearest tree and flipped those to her as well. I'm really sorry about your brother. She nodded, but didn't meet my gaze. As she dropped the apples into the basket, she murmured, "You're a lot like him, the way you look out for people." Richard did that. Not just for me, but for the boys in his dorm. He'd stand up for them, even if it meant getting himself into trouble. She looked up with sudden inspiration. "Come with me." "To the mainland?" "No, farther. You don't want to be stuck living topside. Let's buy a boat with the money Richard sent me and sail away." "Where?" "Anywhere. How about the Colorado Islands?"
What?
Colorado Islands? Fuck.
What? Oh!
Well, I mean, Colorado
Oh,
does have mountains.
I want to see a
and
fucking
we're
map.
flooded.
Yeah, what is
You're
happening?
just gonna go look up an elevation map of Colorado real quick.
Well, and no, I just want to see a map of like what their world looks like right now. What do you mean Colorado Islands?
Well, I assume that the majority of Colorado is underwater at
Right.
this point.
Fuck.
And all that's left of Colorado is the mountaintops as islands.
Fuck, it's not. That's exactly what I was hoping was not the case.
It's kind of the vibe I get.
100% you're right. But I'm like, please, no, 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 no. Not Colorado!
Brutal.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's, I mean, could very well be a reality. Woof! Damn.
My ears grew hot at the thought of us together on a boat. "I can't." Her eyes drifted to the window behind me. "Hi." I braced myself. I didn't know how else to say no when the idea was so appealing. "You said the outside lights never turn off all the way?" She pointed over my shoulder. "All around the homestead." Huh. The boundary lamps flicked off. One by one, I bolted for the window. The last lamp cut out and the fields went dark. Gemma pressed in next to me. "What's happening?" The kelp close to the house was still illuminated by the light from inside, except for one dark patch, I noticed, which was the house's shadow. No, that wasn't possible. The house was the light source, so it wouldn't cast a shadow. Something else was out there, 1 story up. The shadow grew darker and wider. Whatever it was descending. I pressed my face to the window, trying to see upward, but nothing dropped into view. Too bad I couldn't use sonar through the thick plexiglass. Whatever was 1 story up now maintained its position. I backed away from the window. Whales didn't hover, and sharks didn't come in that size of big. "Hi?" Gemma followed my gaze. Then, as she leaned in for a closer look, something enormous and dark plunged past the window. She jerked back with a gasp. My heart kicked into high gear as I grabbed hold of her hand. "What was?" she asked as I dragged her through the fruit trees. "Outlaws." I yanked open the greenhouse door, and we ran for the stairs, only to skid to a stop in the center of the wet room as the shadow glided by another window. This time close enough to blot out all else. Faster and faster, the specter circled, like a shark closing in on its prey. Pulled by the swirling water, the house twisted on its anchor chains, making us stagger to keep our balance. "Go!" I shouted, steering her toward the stairs while I raced for the house speaker and punched the button. "Pa, wake up!" "Ty? What's going on?" My father's voice was alert. No doubt he'd been shaken awake when the house started moving. In the background, Ma cried, "John, the boundary lamps are out." "The specter is circling us," I told them. "I think the outlaws just shut off the exterior power, but I don't know how." Pa's response was a curse that would have made a minor blush. Where are you? His voice cut out along with every noise in the house and every light. Ty! Gemma was only halfway up the stairs. It's okay. The backup generator would kick on in an instant. Even though it hadn't at the PVs, it would be different here. This was my home, and I knew how every inch of it operated. But seconds passed, and all I heard were my parents' frantic footsteps on the floor above. Finally, a strip of red emergency lights flickered on around the moon pool, while outside, tiny green lights outlined the struts of the house. My tension eased as I waited for the air purifier's familiar hum to start up. Then I remembered all the emergency lights ran off a battery pack. The backup generator remained as silent as a corpse. Dread sloshed in my gut. It was the same nightmare all over again. Like Cheryl and Lars, we were going to lose our livestock, our crops, and our house within 30 minutes. I tore off my t-shirt, tossing it into the changing room as I ran past. What are you doing? Gemma leaned over the railing, her face pale in the scant light. I paused below her. Everything will be okay. The outlaws will steal a few things, like they did at Hewitt's, but then they'll leave. At least I hoped so, anyway. But part of me wondered if I'd brought this upon us. Shade had threatened to kill me if I told anyone else about him, and I had. What if he was here for me? Ty, Pa shouted from above. Down here, I called back. Go wake Zoe, I told Gemma, then lock yourselves in her bedroom. Don't open the door until you hear me on the other side. Without waiting for her reply, I ran to the far side of the room, threw open my gear locker, and grabbed my dive skin. My parents pounded down the stairs, both sealing their dive skins as they squeezed by Gemma, who was finally headed up. The Spectre is coming around the starboard side, I told them as I shucked off my sweatpants and stepped into my dive skin. The Spectre shot by the window on the far side of the wet room, leaving a storm of bubbles in her wake. They're trying to scare us, so we'll stay inside, Pa growled. They'll probably go for the equipment and supplies in the outer buildings. What do you want to do? Asked Ma as she holstered her spear gun. I'll tell you what we're not going to do, and that's give over anything without a fight, Pa vowed. Ma gave a crisp nod as she pulled 2 Liquigen packs from the slots in the wall and tossed one to Pa. When the Spectre cruised by the closest window, I shrank back. She was circling so tight, it seemed like she would shear the acrylic skin right off the house. Somewhere inside that sub was Shade, a realization that sent an icy finger skimming down my spine. Ma handed me a shock rod. Join the girls upstairs. No way. I'm as good a shot as both of you, and I've got sharper water eyes for sure. Yes, but I mean to have you see 16, Ma said in a low, fierce voice. We need him, Carolyn, Pa cut in. Guard the moon pool, he told me. Shoot anything or anyone who tries to surface. Except you. Pa flashed a wry smile. Except us. Ma caught my arm. If too many are coming in, don't play the hero, especially if one of them is Shade. There's no shame in hiding, you hear me? If it's Shade, I'm taking the shot. My mother didn't argue. She followed Pa into the moon pool, spear gun in hand. As they slipped under the water, a panicky chill spread through me. Soon, sharks would come to feast on the dying livestock. My parents would be facing predators in the dark, both fish and human. But I wasn't helping anybody standing here, stiff with fear. I rushed up the stairs to check that the girls were locked into Zoe's bedroom, only to find them hovering at the top of the stairs in white nightgowns and anxious expressions. This is my fault, Gemma whispered. This wouldn't be happening if I hadn't dragged you into the saloon. You went into the saloon? Zoe asked in a voice so loud I flinched. You didn't drag Hewitt into the saloon, and they attacked his homestead, I pointed out. If it turned out to be anyone's fault, most likely it would be mine. Go. I waved them back toward the bedrooms. Lock yourselves in. No. Gemma held up her jade knife. I want to help you. Keeping Zoe safe helps me. Zoe gasped with indignation. I can take care of myself. Gemma met my eyes over Zoe's head and nodded in answer to my silent plea. Ty just said that so I wouldn't feel bad, she told Zoe. Really, he wants you to look out for me. I'm the dumb topsider. She put an arm around Zoe and gently tried to steer her back down the hall. Zoe was having none of it and ducked under her arm. I'm coming with you, she told me. I want to see an outlaw.
No.
Darned if she didn't sound excited. You'll put Ma and Pa in danger, I whispered angrily. An outlaw snatches you up, they die trying to save you. Zoe actually looked frightened at that. I took full advantage of it. Go to your room, bolt the door and barricade it. As the girls backed down the hall, I heard a splash in the wet room. I crept down the stairs, shock prod up. It was dark in the wet room, despite the emergency light strips in the floor. Still, I could see that an oval shadow floated in the moon pool. I sent out several clicks, hoping I was wrong, but no, my sonar confirmed what I had already guessed. Next to the Reaper bobbed the Slicky, hatch open. Instantly, I knew how Shade had found me. It was sickeningly easy. He'd simply climbed into the Slicky and hit the home icon. Fear whispered through me. Shade was in the house. The specters circling. That was just a diversion to get my parents outside. Now, somewhere in the dark, Shade was waiting to strike. Thuds ran along the window to my left. I whirled to see a school of tuna thrashing against the glass. A hammerhead shark plowed through them and carried one off. Where were Ma and Pa? I couldn't think about it right now. Shade was close. The fact kicked everything else to the edge of my brain. I crept toward the equipment bay, clicking as I went. All I could make out were vehicles. Of course, sonar couldn't tell me if something was hiding behind them. Taking another step, I put my bare foot into a puddle of cold water. The shocking chill of it shot through my body and sharpened all of my senses. My parents had made no splash when they slipped into the water. The puddle came from someone climbing out of the moon pool, dripping as he went. I should be scared, knowing that Shade had come to kill me, but it was anger that surged through me, hot and sharp. Why hadn't I changed weapons before checking on the girls? To use the prod, I had to touch the tip to my target, and I had no intention of getting within arm's reach of Shade. I cast out more clicks and sensed nothing but equipment. In the dim green light, the metal foam walls cast an eerie glow. Summoning up my grit, I hurried toward the weapons rack, only to trip over something in my haste. Lifting the soft clump with the tip of the shock prod, I tried to make out what it was. A sharkskin vest. If I'd held a single doubt about Shade's presence, this doused it. I shook off the vest like it was the shed skin of a reptile, holstered the prod, and ran for the weapons rack. There, my fingers skipped over the standard-sized spear gun and instead curled around the cold steel of the biggest harpoon gun Pa owned. With two hands, I hefted it from the rack. It was a man-sized gun, heavy and long. Pa kept it for the rare occasion a shark burst through our bubble net. I didn't like the idea of shooting a human with it, but I had no choice. A small harpoon might not stop Shade unless it hit him dead through the heart. Edging into the center of the room, I sent my clicks out again. I listened for their echoes and saw the wet room in my mind, as clear as if every light in the house was on high. And there was the intruder, emerging from behind a sub. Pressed close to the wall, He was invisible to my eye, but in my mind, the shadow across the room was a three-dimensional outline of a man. A man so big and tall it could only be Shade. My sonar was so sharp, I could even tell from the echoes bouncing off him that his chest was bare. The outlaw's flesh had been a sharper echo than the fabric of his pants. Shade flicked on a small flashlight, aiming it at the floor and then the walls to get a quick read on the room. My heartbeat slowed as I realized I had the advantage. Shade couldn't see in the dark. So long as I stayed out of the flashlight's beam and away from the emergency lights, he wouldn't spot me. I lifted the end of the harpoon gun, bracing the butt against my shoulder. The muscles in my arms trembled as I struggled to hold the heavy gun steady. I threw out another series of clicks, then took aim with my mind's eye. It was going to be hard because Shade was moving quickly along the wall, but if I didn't hurry, in another minute he'd be at the stairs. It would be much harder to find him, let alone get a clear shot on the second floor, with its many rooms. I inhaled, clicked once more, found my target, and pulled the trigger. The gun's kick sent me flying backwards as the harpoon launched. The instant I landed on the floor, there was a crack of steel puncturing acrylic, accompanied by a strangled cry. The harpoon had hit its mark. Had I killed him? The thought made me shudder. Scrambling up, I saw Shade's flashlight roll across the floor. Clicking, I gagged over the picture formed in my mind. Shade thrown back against the wall, pinned there. The harpoon jutted from his left arm, just below the shoulder. His breath came out in pants as his struggling stilled. My sonar couldn't tell me why Shade had stopped moving. Was he passed out? I'm gonna give her a second since I think she's grabbing her food. A sip of soda. Excuse me. Alrighty. My sonar couldn't tell me why Shade had stopped moving. Was he passed out? Or just faking it to lure me closer? Whirling, I ran for the other side of the wet room, slipping in the puddle of seawater along the way. I needed to know how much of a threat Shade was at this point. Snatching an emergency lantern from its hook, I unholstered my shock prod. I set the lantern on the rim of the moon pool, where it would illuminate the whole room. Facing the wall where Shade was pinned, I flipped on the lantern. The sight that met my eyes froze me into place. Every inch of his flesh was red. So were his eyes. Blood? I tried to make sense of the terrifying vision in front of me, too shocked to register that Shade had wrapped his hand around the harpoon until, with a pained yell, he yanked its pointed tip out of the wall behind him. Pressing his palms to the butt of the harpoon, he pushed its length through his arm, screaming as he did. The sound of the harpoon hitting the floor jolted me back to reality. Shade was free and coming for me. I lifted the shock prod, but I'd missed my chance. Shade raced toward me, turning from red to black until he was nearly invisible again. I should have cut the lights to give myself the advantage, but he was nearly on top of me before I had the chance. I spun, aiming the prod at the outlaw circling me, but with the moon pool at my back, I had nowhere to go. Closing in, Shade wrenched the shock prod from my grip, throwing it across the room where it clattered against the gear lockers. I went for my knife, but Shade was too quick. He ripped my knife from my belt and flung it into the moon pool. Before I could slip into the moon pool as well, he threw me down so hard that white-hot pain flashed through my brain and my head thumped onto the floor. As my head thumped onto the floor. I forced myself to stay conscious. The glow from the lantern played over Shade's skin, black and slick. As I scuttled backward through the puddle, his eyes reddened until his pupils were slits of fire. Stomping on my chest, he pinned me to the floor with his bare foot. "Where's the girl?" he snarled. I shook my head. He'd have to kill me before I gave up Gemma and Zoe. A drop of Shade's blood spattered onto my cheek. As I whipped my face aside to escape his dripping wound, a movement caught my eye. Through Shade's leg, I saw Zoe peering through the spindles of the staircase. Gemma grabbed Zoe by the arm and tried to pull her back up the stairs. Zoe twisted and tugged, but Gemma hauled her up, step by step, almost out of sight, until Zoe bit her wrist, hard. When Gemma's hand sprang open and she fell back, Zoe tore downstairs. Shade turned at the noise. Clawing at his leg, I tried to free myself, only to have him grind his foot down harder. Zoe stopped on the bottom step, in her nightgown, with her curls wild and a toy shark clutched in her arms, while Gemma slipped out of sight at the top of the stairs. "Get off him!" Zoe's voice was shaky, but ripe with warning. Shade's gaze dragged over her. "Sweet," he drawled. "But not the one I want. Where's the other girl?" When I didn't answer, he bore down with his foot so hard I choked with pain. "The one from the docking ring." "Stop it!" Zoe yelled. "Tell me," he warned. His pupils widened until his eyes were entirely red. "Or I'll ask the angel over there." "Go ahead and ask me, jerk face." "Zoe!" I croaked while waving her away, only to cry out as one of my ribs cracked under Shade's heel. "Where," the outlaw spat each word, "is she?" "Here." Gemma stumbled down the stairs and stepped in front of Zoe, blocking her from the outlaw's view. "Please don't hurt them." She threw down her jade knife. With a curl of his fingers, Shade coaxed her forward. When I squirmed with renewed effort, he glanced down, as if deciding whether or not to kill an end step. Shade was going to take Gemma, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. But someone else could. "Zoe!" I gasped. "Do it!" Between Shade's legs, I saw her scoot around Gemma. "Now, touch the..." My words ended in a scream as Shade's foot bore down and cracked another of my ribs. Despite the agony, I forced my eyes open to see Zoe kneel next to the puddle that spread across the wet room floor. She dipped her finger into the water. A second later, a tsunami of pain hit me as electricity blasted through me, frying every nerve ending in my body. Above me, Shade spasmed as if caught in a lightning storm, and then stiffened. When he collapsed, a second wave of pain crashed over me, and my world went black. She's a little electric eel! And Zoe's a little electric eel!
Bro.
She straight up said, "Don't hurt my brother, or I'm going to zap your ass."
I will literally zap you, bitch. All
Pop
gas,
off,
no
little
brakes.
angel.
Yeah,
See,
seriously.
I was so not expecting that. I was really expecting Zoe to set her, like, horrifying little creatures upon this man. I really thought she was gonna go full beast tamer and, like, unleash an oarfish on his ass.
That would have been awesome.
Electricity, though? That's also pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. That was a good choice of all the things, you know? Because he's a big guy. A bunch of little creatures are annoying,
Right.
but the electricity's a That's a given.
Well, the main thing I was thinking was they say that the oarfish wrapped around the wet room like several times before they got it all inside. Not a small fish. Some of
Not
her
at
pets
all
are very big.
real.
But you know what? I will take the electricity powers. That is wild. Pop off.
No, actually. My food just arrived. Would you be willing to read the next chapter?
Sure, yeah.
Cool. I just wanted to ask because it literally just got here and I had to send pictures because they forgot my nuggets. But I got refunded like
Oh,
$20, which is not normal. Usually they only give you like $10
the price of a
maximum.
thing that for a thing,
Yeah, but they gave me
maybe.
$20. I was like, whoa. All right, thanks.
You're like, I'll take 20 bucks credits.
Yeah, literally. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I appreciate you so
no
much.
problem. Chapter 23. I woke with a burnt taste in my mouth and an awful toothache. Someone was sobbing nearby. It had to be Zoe. I didn't have to see her to know that she was rocking on the balls of her feet with her head thrown back and her mouth wide open. No one else in the world could howl like that. One of her pets must have died. I opened my eyes to tell her I'd help her catch a new monster if she just quit making that awful noise. I blinked against the harsh light, and abruptly, Zoe's howls stopped. Closing my eyes, I decided to use my sonar instead. But as I turned to send out clicks, my side burned with pain. Groaning, I squinted at Zoe, who gaped back at me in astonishment. Then she slid out of sight as my bed rolled forward. Not a bed, a gurney. I realized as the fog lifted from my mind. You'll need to leave the room now, a voice said. Doc's voice. Something was binding my chest so tightly, every breath was a shot of pain. Still, I tipped my head back, only to see that I was being pushed into a metal cylinder. You're awake, Doc said. Lie still. This won't hurt at all. As the cylinder drew closer, strange lights flickered inside of it. Panic seized me as memories shrieked like ghosts in my head. I was heading into an MRI scanning machine. Crashing onto my side, I set my broken ribs on fire. Hi, don't move, Doc commanded. Lifting my head, I saw him, tight-lipped with determination. I tumbled off the gurney, gripping the edge in case my legs wouldn't hold me, but they did. Wearing nothing but a hospital gown, I ran for the door. Come back, he shouted after me. Pushing through the swinging door, I burst into the infirmary to find my family gathered by a row of beds. Gemma, too. When my parents saw me, they rushed forward. Pa got to me first and eased me onto a bed before I collapsed. Doc shoved through the door, eyes on me. Are you crazy? Turning to Ma and Pa, he said, he ran out like I was killing him. Give him a minute, Doc, Pa said, giving my neck a reassuring squeeze. Ma sat down on the bed next to me. Her fingers trembled as she gathered one of my hands into hers and rubbed my knuckles down her cheek. Across the room, Gemma nervously rolled the infirmary's crash cart back and forth like she was rocking a cradle. Who knows how much electricity surged through him, Doc said. I need to check his brain for damage and... No, I said. A movement at the end of the bed caught my attention. It was Zoe, clutching her toy shark as if her life depended on it, still in her nightgown. Please don't die, she whispered. I'm not going to die, I scoffed. I didn't mean to hurt you. A sob broke her words, making them hard to understand. In a blinding flash, the events of the night burst into my mind. My fear, the searing pain as my ribs cracked, and Shade, most of all Shade, towering and terrifying with his glowing ember eyes. Shade, I gasped, throwing my legs over the side of the bed. Ma's hand tightened around mine, holding me back. He's locked up, Pa assured. Ranger Grimes will take him to the coast within the hour, and we'll never see him again. My gaze flew to Gemma, who looked as racked as I felt. What has she told everyone? What's this? Ma asked, sounding alarmed as she touched my arm. Glancing down, I saw an odd feathery mark that started on the inside of my elbow and bloomed upward over my bicep. It looked as if someone had traced my capillaries in purpley. A Lichtenberg bruise, Doc said. Ranger Grimes says Shade has one just like it. Running a finger over the intricate pattern, I winced as pain erupted along my skin. People get it after being struck by lightning, Doc explained. But any kind of electrical shock can cause it. His gaze settled on Zoe. She squirmed and opened her mouth to speak, but I got the words out first. It was really smart of you, Shrimp, I croaked. Putting the shock prod in the puddle, really smart. Across the room, Gemma stopped rolling the cart and frowned. Yes, Zoe whispered, handing her tears away. I did that. You said you didn't remember what you did, Doc corrected. She was scared.
I'll turn off my recording for now, and I can just retrieve it from it later.
Right.
Cool. Yeah, that's also why I'm like, I need to not backlog.
Right.
All right. We are back.
Here we go.
I can see folks are back in. Cool.
All right. Just making sure things are muted.
Yes.
If I'm not overstimulating myself. All righty. She was scared, I cut in while keeping my eyes pinned to my sister. She picked up the prod from the floor, probably didn't even realize what she was doing. Zoe nodded, lips pressed into a tight seam. I told her to put it in the puddle, I added. Doc crossed to stand in front of Gemma. Did you see what happened? Is there a problem, Doc? Pa asked. I'm gone for good in 48 hours. Doc's gaze bored into me. If there's something wrong with you, now is your chance to find out. After that, you're on your own. I stiffened with anger. There's nothing wrong with me. As if I'd trust him anyway, after he'd purposely misled us into thinking Sea Blight was a prison. Let's give Ty a little time and then see how he's doing, Pa suggested. He's a kid, Doc turned to Pa. He doesn't know what's for the best. Don't you have some control over him? Some, Pa said wryly. Not to have him examined is negligence, pure negligence. With that, Doc stalked out of the room. Now that Shade has been arrested, Ma said quickly, covering the awkward silence. Everyone thinks the rest of the gang will clear out of here. I thought you'd want to know. We're reconsidering our move topside. She smiled and handed me a pile of folded clothes. Maybe the wealth will even offer a reward for his capture. I looked at Pa, who smiled back. It was enough to make my ribs stop hurting for a moment. Once they left the room, I hurriedly stepped into a pair of drawstring pants. As I tore off the paper gown, the feathery bruise caught my eye. I sank to the bed as I faced the fact that this bruise was the second thing that Shade and I had in common. There was no denying it anymore. Not after what I'd seen. Shade had a dark gift. Cheers and applause broke out when I swung open the door to the dining hall. Jibby, Raj, and the Peavies raised their tankards. Takai! Jibby thrust a cup into my hand. We're celebrating Shade's capture. What time is it? Middle of the night, Cheryl replied, beaming at me. Sliding close, Gemma whispered, We need to talk. She led me to an empty table. Good, now we could get our stories straight. You have to tell them dark gifts are real, she said once we settled on top of the table. What? No. People need to know that Shade can camouflage himself. Why? He can't break out of jail by changing the color of his skin. Setting an example for Zoe and Hewitt, she scolded. Probably other kids too. They watch you because you're older, and what are you telling them? To be ashamed of themselves. I glanced at Zoe, who seemed younger than usual, curled in Ma's lap, clutching her toy shark. I looked away and ignored the guilt seeping into me. I was sick of people watching me. The settlers watch to see if I'm healthy, because if I am, they think they don't have to worry about their kids. Topsiders watch to see if the water pressure is affecting me. I don't want to be a prototype. I want to be normal. But you're not, Gemma said. You're different. Special. You may as well admit it. And just so you know, it's not normal to want to be normal. People who are normal want to be special. Yeah? Down here, you're special. So special, an outlaw wanted to steal you away. But just so you know, the opposite of normal isn't special. It's abnormal. And I'm not admitting that to anyone, ever. All it would get me is a one-way ticket to topside and more medical exams. No thanks. I need you, boy, said a voice from behind us. I turned to see Ranger Grimes standing nearby. He smirked at Gemma. You think you fooled me yesterday? I ain't been out here so long I don't know a female when I see one, young or not. I stepped between them.
What?
I thought you...
Huh?
Because Grimes reported to Miss Spinner.
Oh, God, sorry. Yep.
I stepped between them. I thought you were taking Shade to the coast. That's right, but first, he clapped my back. I want you to ID him as the lowlife who almost killed you. I was there too. Gemma hopped off the table. And conscious the whole time. Isn't my ID worth something? Sure, the ranger said with a shrug. Come have a good long look.
Jeez. So even like with it, there's still so much drama happening. Fuck.
Right, that is crazy.
Also, I'm low-key like stressed about him being around the ranger without. I hope there's somebody with him.
Right, yeah, scummy dog vibes coming from the ranger.
Yeah, like I don't know.
Consistently.
I don't even.
Why do I feel like the ranger's not really gonna actually do a whole lot with Shade, even though he's been arrested now?
That's what I'm scared about. Straight up. Ugh.
Like, especially because, like I brought up in one of the previous book clubs or whatever, you'd think that Ranger Grimes would want this, like, big career-making case to be tucked away tidily under his belt so that he wouldn't get the shit assignment of being stuck sub-C, since he's clearly so sub-C racist.
He literally. So true.
But in typical crappy dude fashion, he's gonna sit there and whine all day about the things he doesn't like and not actually do anything to remove himself from the situation.
Classic.
Like,
Unfortunately.
What a bitch-ass Ranger Grimes is.
For real. He's a bitch ass indeed. Man. God. Okay.
Ugh.
God.
Yeah,
I might
he
burp.
just gives bad vibes, so I cannot trust that he's good intentioned with anything he does.
Yeah, no, definitely. Thank you. I backed up a little bit so it wasn't going to be too strong. Full blast. All right. Thank you for helping me with that, buddy, so that I could eat my dinner real quick. I appreciate it so much.
No problem.
I really needed that. I was starting to feel kind of dizzy. I was like, oh. Burn?
Well, I'm glad you got something to eat.
Yeah, it was just one of those days where it's like, oh, I haven't eaten all fucking day today. I was just trying to get him to stop chasing Luna, and I ended up entertaining him with a piece of paper instead, which is, like, fine, honestly. That works, too. Oh, he's picked it up.
Right,
He's picking it up. He's got it in his arms. He's fighting it and chewing it. Okay, don't eat it.
So cute.
Hey, don't eat the paper. Shit. I gotta take it away now. Fuck. I know. No.
Yeah, I have to be careful with my nail files and stuff because
Oh my god, it's like wet.
I gotta be careful with my nail files and whatnot because, oh, yep.
It was so wet, like when I picked it up. God, damn. Okay. Anyways.
Yeah, Coco likes to try and steal my nail files. She wants to chew on them for whatever reason. I don't understand why she craves the grit.
Give me the grit. Oh my god. Ooh, that made me get like goosebumps. Eee.
Just thinking about it.
Yeah. Ugh. I meant like something about like teeth on like weird textures always makes me have like a very visceral reaction.
Like you just accidentally squeaked your teeth.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, okay. All right. Chapter 24. I've been completely forgetting to type the chapters this time. That's okay.
Okay.
Okay. Where are we going? Gemma asked when the elevator stopped at the access deck. The elevator doors opened facing the huge window of the exterior corridor. The ranger's skin took on a greasy sheen as he stepped into the passage. I put him in the storage bay. Shade's dead? I asked at the start. No, the ranger scoffed. If the shock didn't kill a stringy bit of jerky like you think it's gonna kill that hunk of meat? Hey. Don't be rude.
You can fucking hope, though.
Yeah. Uh-huh. You would still hope? Yeah, come on, man. Why put him in storage? I asked Gemma, and I trailed behind Grimes. I had to keep him somewhere, the ranger muttered, glancing uneasily at the sea outside the window. The wealth gives Doc all the fancy medical equipment he wants, but do I get a jail? He took a bottle of pills from his coat pocket and downed 2 without water. Are you okay? Gemma asked. With shaking hands, Grimes pulled out another bottle of pills. Capsules this time. He broke one apart and poured the powder onto his tongue, wincing at the taste. I stopped short. You're seasick. So? The The ranger wiped the beads of sweat from his brow. That's how a normal person feels when he's forced into an underwater death trap. Hustling around the corner, he headed for the storage bay. I followed him. That's why you wouldn't check out the saloon yesterday. Because you're scared to come down to the lower station. Sick don't mean... oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna make sure I was reading it right. Sick don't mean scared, the ranger snapped. Maybe not always, but going by his expression, sick sure meant scared in his case. He slipped a key in the large padlock on the double doors. Pushing open the door, he waved us inside. I dropped my arm in front of Gemma, blocking her way. Sorry?
All good.
Is Shade walking around loose in there? I love the way he asked that. I don't know why that tickles me.
Handcuff? Because it sounds like he's talking about loose change in a purse.
Yeah, like, what? Is he loose? Is he loose in there? The fuck? Okay, he's not wrong for asking that, you know, too. But maybe it just tickled me. Okay. The tips of the ranger's ears reddened. You think I'm an idiot, boy? Oh my god. I met Gemma's... I know, seriously. Chill out, Ranger. Ranger Grimes, you have an ego thing, bro. I met Gemma's eyes, and we both pressed our lips tight to keep from smiling. No, sir. We stepped into the cavernous room. Maybe the ranger wasn't an idiot, but he didn't know about Shade's dark gift. Hadn't seen him blend into the background so thoroughly he was nearly invisible. Light bulbs dangled from the ceiling in widespread intervals, casting barely enough light to see the fronts of the cages that line the walls. Settlers rent the stalls for storing extra stuff, I explained to Gemma as we headed down the center aisle. Not just settlers. The ranger directed us around the end of the aisle. In the far corner was a freestanding cage, half in shadow. I'm sure the marine biologist who's storing it won't mind us putting it to good use, he chortled. The bars are made of pure titanium. A shark cage.
I had a feeling.
Yo. Gemma hung back in the shadows. I don't want him to see me. I nodded. Shade would probably haunt her dreams as it was. I followed the ranger into the pool of light. Show yourself so this boy can ID you, the ranger called into the cage. No reply. The ranger banged a white stick against the bars. Step forward or I'll tase you twice as long as last time. Damn. Fuck. Fuck. Sorry. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh.
That's a lot, Ranger Grimes.
Yeah, like, bro. These kids are, 15
Man's been hit
and a half.
Well, I think he's talking to Shade when he says that, but
Yes.
even so, like...
Yeah. I mean, they've already seen enough anyways.
Well, I mean, they were like 15-year-old boys in the Seablight Reformatory or whatever, so Shade's probably like, what, 20-some tops?
Jeez, that's so true. Oh my god. It's weird because it's like my brain just, because he's so like big, envisioned him as older for some reason.
Right.
Winter said, I wish I liked more foods, but do have some spaghetti with butter and cheese for comfort food tonight. Yay! That's a great comfort meal.
Yeah.
Very good, and good on you for getting something in, even if it's just a little comfort meal. Celebrate
Right.
good times, come on. Alright. The ranger banged a white stick against the bars. Step forward or I'll tase you twice as long as last time. There was the sound of someone getting to his feet. A crate flew across the cage, into the light, and crashed into the bars. With a yelp, the ranger jumped back. Just moving my seat, a deep voice said. Then Shade stepped into the dim light. His skin was once again coffee brown and badly pockmarked. Black tattoos wound up his neck and over his skull. He wore only pants, having left his vest on our wet room floor. He probably preferred being bare-chested, that way easier to camouflage himself. Just as long as he didn't do it in front of Grimes. Blood seeped through the bandage wrapped around Shade's left arm. If his wound hurt, he sure didn't let on. Dropping a heavy foot onto the crate, he rested his right arm across his knee, revealing the feathery bruise etched on his forearm. "How are the ribs?" he asked in a mockingly pleasant tone. Well, if that didn't absolutely confirm you're the person that did it, what the fuck, man? How are your ribs? I stomped out last night, brother.
Right.
What the fuck?
People usually don't ID themselves in the lineup like that. Goddamn, buddy.
He is flexing. Yes, I faced the ranger. He's the one who broke into our house. "You sure you saw me, kid?" Shade asked. "Yeah, he's sure," the ranger snapped. But then Grimes stumbled backward, teeth bared in a grimace. "What the?" I reeled to see Shade's eyes frost over until they were solid white. He threw himself against the bars, sending me skittering back. "Are you sure you saw me?" He demanded, "Are you sure you saw me?" He demanded as his skin burst into a million pinpoints of light. The ranger shouted out, or was that Gemma, who was still hunkered in the shadows? I peeled my gaze from Shade's dazzling light display to see Ranger Grimes scrambling for the aisle. As he rounded the corner, his uniform caught on the edge of a storage cage. Frenzied, he ripped his sleeve free of the wire and disappeared. Damn, he just left them? That's fucking... my god. His running...
Grimes is a coward.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Wuss. Come on. His running footsteps echoed through the storage bay until there was a distant swoosh of the door opening. When it slammed shut, I felt my carefully constructed reality crack like a seafloor rift. Now everyone would know that dark gifts were no myth. Irrefutably. My jaw clenched as tight as my fists and I whirled on Shade. "Did you have to show it off?" With his skin still radiant, he leaned casually against the bars of his cage. "Why do you hide it?" I glared at him without answering. "What do you care about what people think?" What do you care what people think?" he asked. "You're going to care when the ranger comes back bringing the others." "That worries you," Shade observed. "Know why?" he asked softly. I braced myself for another one of his tricks. Sure enough, his face smoothed out and his pockmarks disappeared. Then every inch of his skin began to shimmer until it was reflective, like liquid mercury. Even his eyes. He turned himself into a human mirror. Now my own reflection stared back at me, scared and intense, superimposed onto Shade's skull. "That's crap," I wanted to yell, but my throat closed off. I was nothing like him. Nothing. The man was a violent outlaw. He'd killed Gemma's brother. "Flaunt it, kid." Shade's skin darkened and his tattoos reappeared. "Make him get used to it." "You're giving me advice?" "You make a good poster boy." His tattoos spread like spilled ink until every inch of him turned black, even the whites of his eyes. "That helps all of us, including you." "I don't need help. I'm not the one in a cage." "Not all cages have bars." Damn, that's deep. Fucking hell. Okay.
Shade getting all philosophical on his ass.
Like, Jenny, what the fuck? Literally. Not all cages have bars, man. A reputation can cage you. He was nothing but a rumbling voice now. So can a secret. So can being an outlaw. His snort of amusement rang in the darkness. We tried to make it topside, but the boys lacked social skills. Had to get them away from civilized people. The outlaw's smile floated inside the cage like the Cheshire Cat's. A grin without a face. Ooh. Mostly we hit government ships. I figured that while we're in Sea Blight, we dug up $1 million worth of black pearls, never saw a penny of it, and got nothing in return, not even schooling. The wealth owes us. You nearly destroyed the Peavy's farm. I paced in front of the bars. Did their homestead look like a government ship? I said mostly. Rustling told me that he was moving away as if finished with the interview. You're good at making excuses, Gemma said from her hiding place in the shadows. Got one for killing my brother? The instant she spoke, Shade's skin rippled with light. She'd startled him. I felt a tinge of satisfaction. The outlaw wasn't superhuman. He hadn't sensed her presence. When she stepped forward, her rage electrified the air. His name was Richard Strayed. Color washed over Shade like a breaking wave, leaving him brown-skinned and tattooed again. He reached into his pants pocket. Him? Shade held up a photo. Richard's. Found it in the mini-sub we hauled in yesterday. With the cry, Gemma shot forward. Give me that! She jammed her arm between the bars. Gemma, no! A smile floated over Shade's mouth, as if he was pleased by her spunk. But with a blink, his expression iced, and he grabbed her by the throat. Get the key, he bellowed at me. Now! When I didn't move, he tightened his grip on Gemma's neck and forced her to face me. The despair in her eyes tore at my heart. If you're not back in 5 minutes, Shade warned in a voice as deep and cold as the abyss, she'll no longer be breathing. Oh my god!
No.
Dude.
Your spunk gets you into so much trouble.
Yeah, literally though. Like, your spunk is cool, but yeah, now everything's really bad. As if it already wasn't bad enough that the fucking ranger is a little bitch and ran away and... Ugh.
Right.
I'm angry.
Do you want to read the last chapter, or do you want me to?
How do you feel? What do you want to do?
I don't mind either way. I just figured I'd ask since you skipped one of your chapters to eat earlier.
Oh, no, that's okay. You can go ahead and read. Thank you for asking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chapter 25. Like hell I'm going back in there, the ranger spat, sweating and shaking as he loaded his sub into the moon pool. That girl is too stupid to stay back. She deserves what she gets. He's going to kill her if you don't open the cage. You tell me what that was. The ranger rounded on me. What? I asked, confused. Grimes grabbed a fistful of my shirt and gave me a shake. Doc was right, wasn't he? Living down here does something to you people. Doc never said that. No? I got a report in my office by Dr. Metzger that says otherwise. That was Doc's name before he changed it to Coons. Oh. I gaped at him. Doc wrote that article? Was that what he meant about trying to tell the truth of what happened in Sea Blight? Smugness took Grimes' anger down a notch. Didn't know that, did you? Doesn't matter, I said, stealing my expression. Whatever name he goes by now, Metzger was proved a fraud. No, boy. The government called him a fraud so people would keep on immigrating sub-sea. But I know better. Grimes pulled me close. Now you tell me what that outlaw can do. I struggled to free myself from the ranger's grip. He can change color. That's all I know. But it could be more than changing color. I thought about Zoe and her power to stun a shark with electricity or fry a man. I nodded. The ranger released me so fast I stumbled backward. You got one, too, don't you? He spat. A dark gift. No, Shut up. His glare was packed with hatred and fear. I'm not going back in there. He yanked a taser from his holster. Hit him with this and he'll let her go real quick. Shade is using her as a shield, and the cage is backed into a corner. There's no way to get him without hurting Gemma. You're the freak. You figure it out. Grimes jumped onto the bumper of his sub and threw open the hatch. Furious, I grabbed hold of the sub's hitching line. Give me the key. So you can let him loose? Not for all the space in the well. I'll send a ship of rangers back to get him. Think this post is bad? I yanked the hitching line and sent Grimes lurching to keep his balance. If Shade kills a girl while in your custody, imagine where they'll send you next. With a key gripped in my fist, I raced through the storage bay. When I rounded the corner at the end of the aisle, I saw Shade had moved Gemma next to the door of the cage. The outlaw smiled at me while she kept her eyes down. Where's the ranger? He asked as I neared the cage. Grimes wants nothing to do with you. I held up the key. He smirked as if I were a small child elaborating on a big lie. He's outside waiting for me to step through the door, gun in hand, Shade guessed. Question is, did he have time to call in more guns? I brought the key, now let her go. I drew back my hand to throw him the key. Shade slammed a shoulder into the bars. Don't. You come here. I inched closer. It'll be okay, I whispered to Gemma. Even though Shade stood right behind her, as soon as I got the cage door unlocked, he shoved it open. Before I could jump back, he grabbed my arm and threw me to the far side of the cage, all while keeping a grip on Gemma. Stepping out, he took hold of her with his other hand and kicked the door shut. The heavy lock snapped into place. Don't leave him in there, Gemma cried. Ignoring her plea, the outlaw led her around the corner and out of sight. I heard him say, Call to the ranger and tell him you're coming out alone. Then push open the door. Said more, but his words were too muffled to make out. The storage bay door cracked open and pressed against the bars. Grimes, he's out there. You just can't see him. But the only response I got was the swoosh of a storage bay door swinging shut in the distance. I kicked at the lock on the cage. The scene played in my mind, Shade camouflaged against the metal foam walls, slipping down the corridor to steal a sub and escape. The silence stretched out forever. Would he take Gemma as a hostage? I shuddered at the thought. Suddenly, the storage room door banged open, and running feet slapped the hard floor. Ty! Gemma sprinted around the corner with the key in hand. I'm coming! What? Girl, how'd you do that?
What the? Woo! Dude. We were being taken for a ride. Like, roller coaster ride.
Right.
Wow.
That was chapter 27. Or 25, I mean.
My brain is, yeah. Why would they not have the parents go with them? Ah.
See, I think that has more to do with the fact that, like, Ranger Grimes is clearly kind of a corrupt, shitty cop to some degree.
Yeah,
And, like,
it's
making
true.
sure that the minor has his parents with him while he's IDing a criminal is too above board for him.
That's too much work.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
real. Fuck, bro.
It's like,
Ugh.
I'm sure on some level he wants to be able to get away with being as shitty to Ty as possible and knows damn well that his parents would absolutely stick up for
Not
him.
be okay with this. No, he'd get his fucking neck
Right.
wrung by both of them.
Right, right. Absolutely.
Damn.
Ooh.
Well, that I guess we're gonna have to find out on Monday what happens
Right.
next, and that'll be the rest of the book on Monday.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, the end of the book.
We're,
Oh.
we're right about in the end. So far, it's been such a fun ride.
Yeah, this has been a fun little ride indeed. My goodness. I
Still
guess
can't get over those electricity powers. That makes so much. Hi, hitting Gemma with the she sets trap. Like,
literally,
she is the trap.
she is the trap, literally.
She's probably just grabbing these fish by the tail and hitting them with a little.
A little bap, come on. That's why how she's catching all of them.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
She's a walking stun gun, and she's like, ooh, let me take this fish home with me.
So they both have oh my god.
Makes me wonder what Hewitt can do.
Yeah, like what is everyone down there doing?
Well, because, like, so far, I mean, I guess there could be something to do with the fact that, you know, Ty and his parents were some of the first subsea settlers or whatever, but I mean, like, kind of implied that Hewitt was also born subsea, so more than likely he probably also has a dark gift.
Yes. Yeah. You're
Also,
right.
kind of funny. I was just like rolling around at some point earlier today, and I found out this thing that apparently, have you heard of swimmer's ear?
Yes, I think so. But remind me.
Surfer's ear, I mean. Not
What is it?
swimmer's ear, surfer's ear.
Oh,
So
no, I haven't.
what can happen is if you have participated in like water-based sports for a significant portion of your life, something that can happen being in the water all the time,
Yeah,
is
literally.
one of your ear bones will literally get bigger. And like it's just, you know, it's some sort of acclimatizing thing that happens from years worth of being in the water and swimming all the time, but like
What the fuck?
maybe there are some people running around with dark gifts right now in the form of large ear bones.
Very, very large inner ears. Oh my god. Why is that so funny?
Yeah, there would probably be some weird consequences of being born subsea, though.
For sure. Yeah, like, I mean, they're alluding to it, and obviously we know, like, something was going up, but, like, it, even down to the science, you know, I feel like it makes sense that there would be different things like that, and now you definitely proved it to me.
Oh yeah, there is also, like, this, I can't remember the name, but there is a culture of people that do a lot of diving for their hunting. And they have a thing where one of their organs is enlarged. Because it literally helps with swimming.
Whoa. What? That's crazy.
I'm gonna find it real quick. Okay. Yeah, there is a tribe of people in Southeast Asia that are renowned for their freediving abilities, and like it's kind of it's pretty common for the people in that culture to have an enlarged spleen.
Whoa.
Yeah, kind of interesting.
I wonder
And
why.
they're literally, well,
What
they're
makes
like
it
literally
large?
free diving to hunt for food for like multiple hours a
The
day,
pressure
and that probably, you know, can influence
enlarges
things.
it. Huh. Or
Well,
something.
yeah, because like our bodies are really nifty, and I mean,
They
if
adapt.
something is really well suited to our environment,
That's what it be
it
doing.
tends to get carried on.
You're definitely right. Wow, my brain is. Huh?
Right?
Whoa.
Cool stuff.
Well, thank you so much for helping us read.
Absolutely.
Just for general announcements, we're gonna have peak night on Saturday, so you guys need to make sure you don't miss it. I will be there too. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Let's see. Just looking at my calendar. Regular book club next week. I might do more than one Stardew stream since I quit my job and I have nothing else to do.
Right.
Literally. So we might get more Stardew next week. And yeah, 26th is the movie night. I might get a poll started for a new book since this one's so close to ending, and we can.
That would probably be a good move.
Yeah, so that we don't have to have too much lull.
Precisely.
But have some. Yeah. Oh yeah, and I'll look at what the sequel is to this, or like the second book, and I'll put that in the options for the poll too. So if we want to continue the series, we can choose to do that. You know.
Right. It's called Riptide.
Cool. I'm gonna write that down. Oops. Okay. I'm getting rainbows in the corner. That's my favorite time of day, you guys. So yeah.
Oh, fun. I see that.
I love having the little rainbow, or like the rainbow window film.
The light catcher over there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's rainbow window film. Fun.
Yeah, it's awesome. Okay, thank you, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Later.
All right. Bye. Well, thank you for being here. Monday we'll finish this book. If you want to help us vote for the new book that we're going to read for book club, I'm going to be dropping that in our Discord. If you want to help us vote for our monthly movie, that will also be in our Discord. If you have any ideas for the monthly movie, feel free to throw that out into the Discord as well. Discord. How many times can I say it in one sentence? Otherwise, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And stay weird. Stay fun. Bye.